The crowd keeps getting bigger. Before our last selection, I just want to say a couple of things. First, it's really a tremendous honor and privilege to get to work with so many people, many of whom, for this is an avocation. They're not professional musicians, they're not in education. Some of them are, but a lot of them, their everyday lives are other things they do. And yet on Monday nights, they come all the way out here to Williamsburg and spend 2 hours dealing with my insanity. And for that, I'm very grateful because I have the best time on Monday nights. So these guys, great. Let's give them another hand. This doesn't happen by accident. You know, you all being here, the next ensemble that's about to play, and I will tell you, if you are planning on sneaking out because you wanted to get at lunch table early, just wait the 40 minutes. I can tell you that you will be in for a huge treat. 3 enormously powerful works played by another equally amazing ensemble of dedicated musicians. And without the people who got this started, and the founder, Jeff Ball, who's out here somewhere, Jasmine, the board of directors, our president, Dave Smith, who sits in this wonderful ensemble, and so many other people who basically dreamed this insanity up. We are so fortunate that we're about to start a 3rd ensemble, which is huge for this organization. If you think about where they were 9 years ago, to start a 3rd group in 9 years is just pretty tremendous. So this has really been an honor and treat. Just a couple of things about what's going on with this group in the future. May 13th, we've been invited by members of the Irish Consulate and the Irish Republic to do a concert at John Jay College at the Gerald Lynch Theater on Friday, May 13th at 7 o'clock. It is to celebrate the 1916 Easter Uprising and the independence of the Irish Republic. It's a big centennial this year, celebrating the 100 years of the Irish Republic as its own nation. So they've asked us to perform an Irish night of music. So we'll be playing Leroy Anderson's Irish Suite, Molly on the Shore, Irish tune from County Derry, Be Thou My Vision, and we'll be doing a sing-along. We'll have some Irish step dancers from Bay Ridge, because we're also going to find Irish step dancers with Bay Ridge, who will be performing with us. It'll be a fun night. It's at 8 o'clock, Friday, May 13th. We'll be back here Friday, June 3rd to encore that program. So if you can't make it on the 13th of May, come on back here on June 3rd. So it's been a pleasure. Our last piece by John Mackey, Asphalt Cocktail. This has nothing to do with jazz, but it has a lot to do with New York City. And I squeezed it into the program, finding my own way in to put this in here. You see the program notes, but it always helps to describe this piece. As walking down the street in Manhattan when John was at Juilliard, he was walking along with another New Yorker, Jonathan Newman, wanted to write a piece of music that just, screamed this. And Jonathan Newman came up with the title Asphalt Cocktail, and John Mackey was immediately upset because he wanted that title. And Jonathan Newman wouldn't give it to him. He wouldn't give it to him. And when Kevin Senethal from Michigan State commissioned this work, he begged him. And finally, Jonathan said, all right, fine, I'm never going to write this piece. You can have the title. Just imagine a cab ride, I know we've all been in one, where you have to get somewhere on time, and you've made the mistake of telling the driver just exactly that, in the middle of rush hour. That is Asphalt Cocktail. Enjoy.